I'm stood on the outside of Turn 1 here in Albert Park in Melbourne, Australia. You can see the grandstands being built behind. Just over there, they have all the gravel that's going to be laid out around the corners. This is so cool. I'm on a road trip to Australia at the moment. I wasn't actually planning on coming through the city, but we just happened to be passing by, saw the grandstands being built, had to pull over and come take a look. So what we're going to do together is go on a walk around the park, try and stop off at as many locations as we can and see what the track looks like about a month ahead of the race. Let's get going. How cool is that down the pit straight? Well, you're going the wrong way, mate. 10-second penalty for rock on. 40 kilometers an hour? Don't think even the Alpine's that slow, is it? So that's the pit lane down there. Coming out. Wow. All the way up to Turn 1. So where else would we start other than at Turn 1? As I'm stood here, I'm reminded of classic lap 1 race starts we've had. It's got me thinking about Lewis Hamilton around the outside of Fernando Alonso in 2007, and that crazy restart that we had a few years ago with the red flag with what, 2 laps to go? Alpine smashing into each other, Hulkenberg was up to P4. So Grand Prix racing has been happening in Australia since as far back as 1928, but it wasn't included as part of the Formula 1 World Championship until 1985. For 10 years, it was held on the streets of Adelaide as the season finale. The first Formula 1 World Championship race held here in 1985 was won by Keke Rosberg driving for Williams Honda, and the most recent winner was last year, of course, Carlos Sainz driving for Ferrari. The driver with the most wins at this circuit is Michael Schumacher with 4, and the winningest constructor is Ferrari on 14. But this does include some of the races before it was part of the Formula 1 World Championship, but surprise, surprise, it's Michael Schumacher and Ferrari that are winning it. Now I'm stood here at Turn 3, the site of Alonso's terrifying accident here in 2016 with the Haas of Esteban Gutierrez. This happened on lap 17 when Fernando was stuck behind Gutierrez, tried to swoop around the outside and ended up barrel rolling about 50 times into the wall. And all of this happened just behind those barriers. Where the photographers have their fancy camera setups. I think Fernando ended up somewhere here. Something that's really surprising me here is how narrow the circuit looks in person. Obviously on the TV it does look like quite a tight circuit, and it's not known for great overtaking at this circuit where cars can't really go side by side, but I really don't see how 2 cars could go side by side at all in some of these spots. Even getting 2 road cars side by side on here looks like it would be a challenge. Something else that I find really surprising is how close people can just get to the circuit. I was expecting that most of the track would be inaccessible to the public, but you can just walk right next to the circuit. Like, that's the circuit right there. I don't know if you can see that. There. That's the circuit right there. I could literally walk onto the circuit right now. I'd probably get run over, but I could do it. Also, something that's really surprising is how close the circuit is to the water. Like, boom, I'm on the track. Now I'm by the water. Like, look how close that is. I can get it, look at that, water track. I have no idea how a Formula 1 car has never ended up in that lake. I know there's barriers and catch fences, but it's just so close. I have also been treated to the authentic Melbourne experience of having 4 seasons in one day. When I started filming earlier, it was really nice and sunny, and then it started raining. Now it's really windy. I'm expecting it to snow any minute, and then a thunderstorm followed by pure blue skies. One thing that I never appreciated before was how nice this park is. When you see it on the TV, obviously you're looking at the race cars. You're not really paying much attention to the venue itself. But this place is gorgeous. There's so much wildlife. It's a shame the weather's not very nice today, but it has made me think that I need to prepare for the Grand Prix itself. I'm gonna have to be bringing my raincoat. I'm gonna bring my umbrella. Otherwise, I just would have rocked up in shorts and t-shirt and probably drowned to death. I feel like if you were to show these birds to anyone not from Australia, they'd probably have a heart attack. For those of you not in the know, this is the Australian ibis, or more commonly known, the bin chicken. I've been walking now for about an hour, and I think I'm on about turn 6. So the fact that these cars do it in, what, 1 minute 30 on a quali lap? Unbelievable. I think I'm going to start a petition that the winning driver of the Oz GP has to jump into the lake. How have we got this gorgeous lake here and the drivers aren't jumping into it? They do it at Monaco. Charles championed for Harbour a few years ago. Got Danny Rick again at Monaco in the Red Bull boat that they've got that giant pool on. So let's make Formula One drivers jump in the Albert Park Lake. The water doesn't look particularly nice and you may get eaten by a swan, but I think it's worth it for our entertainment. The first race to be held on the streets of Melbourne was in 1996, and the race was won by eventual champion of that year, Damon Hill. I think this has got to be my favourite part of the circuit. You've got the straight that's not really a straight. You've got these lovely palm trees right next to the lake. What a beautiful place to hold a race. This circuit has always been one of my favourites. I'm not really too sure why the racing here isn't always the best. I don't know if it's because this was typically the first race of the season, which I'm super glad that it is back to being the first again. No hate to Bahrain, but the atmosphere just doesn't seem that great there. So I don't know if I just love the circuit because it normally means that Formula One is back, but there's just something about him always wanted to come. So I'm so happy that I'm going to be going in a few weeks' time. Now I'm at my favourite part of the circuit, the turn 11 and 12 chicane. The speed the cars go through here is absolutely insane. And again, it looks massive when you're here in person. I've just got general admission tickets, so I'm probably going to be moving around a lot. But if there's any way that I can sit up on that hill, that's where I want to be. I'm assuming that this is going to be turned into a tyre wall at some point. A few more tyre barriers getting prepped. If any of you guys watching this are coming to the AusGP, let me know down in the comments. It would be really cool to see you guys there. I'm pretty sure that this is still part of the circuit. I've never noticed that there's traffic lights above head before. I assume they don't take them down. So I have to keep an eye to see if they're still there. That is so typical. As soon as I've almost finished the walk, the sun's come out. It rained almost the whole time I was walking around and now it's sunny. I'm not happy with you, Melbourne. So I've just completed my first lap of the AusGP. I think I did, 24,000 odd steps, so I'd much rather be doing it in a Formula One car. So if any Formula One teams want to give me a drive for next season, I am open to offers. My salary will be starting at 85 million euros a year. Unfortunately, there were a few parts of the track that I wasn't able to get a video at, which is a shame because I'd love to have covered it all for you guys. But I hope you did enjoy that quick tour around Albert Park anyway. That was really cool for me to see. But I am really gutted now that the race isn't happening this weekend. I've now got that feeling that you get when you arrive to a Grand Prix weekend and you're like really excited for the race to happen because I've just been to the venue, but I've now got to wait like 4 weeks before lights out. So actually kind of gutted, but it was a really cool experience to see all that. If you did enjoy the video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. This is still a really new channel, but there's loads and loads of F1 content coming out soon. I'm going to be aiming for 2 uploads a week. It's more likely going to be 1 upload a week, but make sure you're following along so that you don't miss any uploads. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.